You ever have that feeling that something inside is just gone, is broke? A lot of times we'll actually even say that, man, I'm a broken person. And we're going to talk about that today and talk about exactly why you are not broke. You are not a broken man. You're not a broken person at all. And that there's actually a lot of hope and a lot of will and a lot of good stuff that happens when you have that feeling that of utter defeat of, I'm just not worthy. I'm broke. I'm a garbage. And we're going to be talking about that this week on episode number 93 of The Relaxed Male. Hello and welcome to Relaxed Male, a podcast that helps men change their relationship with themselves. I am your host, Brian, and I am a men's life and mindset coach who is here to help you understand that you don't have to suffer at your own expense. You can live your dream, and I encourage you to set, then pursue your goals. So join me as I change the mindset and attitudes of men so that they can be the leaders of their families and their destinies. Hey man, hello and welcome to Relaxed Male. All right. So guys, want to thank you first off for taking the time to come in and listen to the show. And we're going to be talking today about whether or not that's a feeling that you have, that feeling of defeat and maybe kind of a dark growing, sensation that comes inside of you from time to time that you don't have what it takes. You're broken. You've thrown yourself against your passions and you just have spent everything and you're now nothing. Everything you try, it just seems to turn to absolute crap. And we feel a lot of times that we're broken. Something inside's broken. Something inside is just falling apart. We've got whether you want to say that you've had a screw come loose or you're just something has stopped working. You don't have that drive in you anymore. And that can be such a defeating and horrible sensation to have. We all have brushed up against that sensation of being broken more than once. And it's, like I said, it's just one of those, it's an aggravating and it's such a self-defeating way of thinking that we all come across. It's almost like those stories that we tell ourselves, those lies, those excuses. Well, I can't do it because I'm a broken person. And, the only reason that we say those is because, we want to try to tell ourselves something that we might actually believe is to be true. And sadly, telling ourselves those types of lies don't work, but yet there's always that feeling there's something missing. We're a lot of times we want to equate that to being broken inside. And it is just one of those just almost soul crushing feelings that you will get from time to time. And it just, sadly, a lot of people will in themselves because they feel that way. They feel that there is no way out of it, no hope to recover from that, no means of being able to bounce back from that feeling of I've done everything I could. I'm just not getting any success. This is no good. I'm either going from I'm going to give up on my dreams and just go, I'm just going to work in some place that I don't have to really worry about anymore. Or, people sometimes they feel like they're so broken that they sadly, they do the ultimate damage to themselves and to their family. And they see themselves that's the only way that they can actually get out of that whole line of thinking by killing themselves. And we have, this episode is coming out on September 9th. September 10th is Suicide Awareness, Suicide Prevention Day. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today is you're not as broken as you want to feel. There is a lot of times that we beat up on ourselves. A lot of times we just pound on ourselves for no reason other than we haven't been able to quite accomplish what we really, really wanted to accomplish in our lives. And that is just, it is so frustrating and sad. And I'm just, I've not been one who fully understands at times just because of how I look at stuff, but seeing and knowing and having friends, close friends who have killed themselves is just, that's just something that I personally have not ever fully understand. But what does it mean when you're broken? Well, there's a lot of different meanings. There's as many different meanings as what there are of people, but often there is a sense of a loss of hope. You don't have any hope. You're not seeing a future. You're not seeing a reason as to why to even get out of bed. You're feeling that feeling of depression. You get the feeling that you've just been beat and life has come along and has just whooped up on you and is just not letting up. And just, there's no reason as to even try to fight back anymore. You get those feelings like, you just need to give up and just pack it up and just say, you know what, life is better without me. Those are wrong stories that you tell yourself. Those are wrong stories that we've all have told ourselves from time to time. You get that feeling that you can't give anymore. You've given everything. You've given every last ounce of what you've got. And whether it is your passion project that's just not taking off, just not doing something. And it's just so frustrating. And it's got to be a problem with you, because that's the only factor you haven't changed yet, is that it's you. And by God, it's got to be that. It's got to be that I just am not meant for this. Or it could just be that, you saw your friend die. We lose so many veterans, 22 a day. And it is just heart-wrenching to think that we have these guys who committed themselves to our country and then just turn around and our country doesn't provide them the support that many feel that they need. And because of that lack of support, they don't see a purpose in their lives once they get out of the service. And they try to carry on and they try to press on. They see that there must be something better out there, and they try and they try and they try and they try. And eventually they just kind of give up. They just kind of lose themselves. They decide that they must be broken, and the feeling of being broken and being incomplete it's frustrating and maddening, because I know that these men are still needed. They have so many skills, so many views in life that would just provide so much value to the world. But yet they are so lost in their own mind and in their own darkness that they lose sight of that light, that glowing ember of hope. They don't have that dream. They don't see the why anymore. And if that happens to you, I mean, there's so many different things so many ways that you can get yourself back up. First off, you have to provide yourself some grace. You've got to understand that, yeah, you probably have failed. We've all failed. There's times that it's just not going to work out the way we would like for it to work out. So what do? Well, you've got to afford yourself grace. Grace is unwarranted forgiveness, forgiving yourself for the times that you failed yourself. Not everybody else. You may have failed other people, and that's okay. But you failing yourself is where a lot of, at least for me, that's where a lot of the self-hatred and the beating up comes from. And if you want to be able to get back up, if you can sit back, and when you're feeling that really dark and lonely place, can you sit back and just allow yourself to feel that and look at it and examine that emotion from all different angles and see if you can understand where that feeling of being broken, feeling of being inadequate comes from. Where does it actually reside? And to be able to get that feeling of being broken can often actually be a lot of times a sign. So many times we're working with in our own little world that we lose sight of the big picture, and we focus in on one small little detail, and just because that little detail becomes our whole world. And so we start to become blind to everything else that is actually around us. And a therapist honestly can help you, because a lot of times we get focused on that little bitty detail of something that happened to us in the past. And so because of that thing that happened in the past, we focus on that. We lose sight of what the future holds and what the future is, and all the great and wonderful things that happen to us that are going to be able to happen to us in the future. Yet, because we are so wrapped up with the shoulda, couldas, and wouldas, that we lose sight, we lose hope. And it's because we start to blame ourselves for any types of failings, whether it is something in life-wise, or if it's something that, we've done that we had no control of. We often want to take up the responsibility for the actions of others, and that's something we can't do. But if we can talk to a therapist or somebody who is well trained in that, they can help you draw the origins of those pains out, and so that you can actually kind of see, hey, this is where the problem is. Now, does it work all the time? Well, it really depends on how well you're wanting to allow that person in. If you're able to let them in and be able to really work on it, you can get a lot of success from it. A lot of people do get success from therapists. Other times people just need to have a band of brothers, that group of men, those 3 a.m. people. Those people can actually come around and they can help you. So if you want to be able to heal, you also want to be able to have that group of men, that close, tight knit group of men who you can turn to and go, hey man, I'm struggling with some stuff. Can you come over? And if they're in the same town, you can pretty much guess that, yeah, they'll be over. They'll hop right onto in their car and shag butt, whether it's a half block or, 50 miles down the road. There's those guys. Or if they're, in another state, no, I can't show up there, but what are you going through? And they will sit there and they will talk with you and they will have a conversation. They'll stay on the phone until they know that you are okay, and try to help you get the help that you need. But you have to be able to grant yourself some grace, because so many times when we get into those dark areas, we want to blame ourselves. It's our fault. We're the reason and the world is in this place because of us. And no, sorry, man, we don't have that ability. We have a certain amount of influence on the world, but sadly, so many times we want to think that we influence every little aspect of our world, and we don't. There's only 2 things we control: our thoughts, our actions, and everything else around us we have no control over. And that can be frustrating, because you see something that you could really need to be able to, you can do, but because it is outside of your power, there's nothing that, you can't do anything about it. You can tell your kids, hey, you don't want to go down this dark road. And once you've told them that they don't need to go down that dark road, if they go down it, well, guess what? It's not it's not something that you can control. So, you have to understand what you're able to control, and being able to talk with your friends, and they can help to view stuff and express stuff in a way that is relative to how you can understand it. That's one of the reasons why it is so good to have, if you're in military and you're a vet and you're struggling with stuff and you're starting to kind of go down a really dark path, talking to other veterans, a lot of times they can, because they use that same language, they've been in those fights with you. The same, maybe not the exact same fight, but in very similar scenarios. They can talk and talk with you and share. So if you've got veterans, friends who have been in the Army, if you're in the Army and they've been in the Army and you can talk to them, beautiful. Talk with them. Veterans have a unique way of being able to talk. And sometimes other people will look at it and go, well, that's really rough and rude. And I don't see how that's helpful. That's not doing any good. And in all reality, it is probably the best thing that some of these vets can actually have, is because all of a sudden they're able to take that pressure off their mind. Another thing that you can do is, if you're in that feeling like you're being broken, how do you heal yourself from being broken? Well, first off, it sounds cheesy. It sounds lame. It sounds like a load of crap. But honestly, start writing down in a gratitude journal. Grab a piece of paper, and every day, 3 to 5 things. What are you freaking grateful for? What are you grateful for? It might just be that the server gave you a refill of coffee. Then, by gosh, write that down. Maybe it's you just had a woman come by and she opened the door and she said hi to you. And you've seen her for 1,000 times, and you've said hi to her several times, but she never said anything back. And then one day she just happened to be in a little bit different phrase of mind. And so she actually was, as she was opening the door, she actually saw you, and it's like, hey, how are you? You can be grateful for just the little interactions. You can also be grateful for the big things. You've got a roof over your head. You've got electricity. You've got a podcast that you can listen to that kind of helps you get your feet underneath you so that you can become a better man. There's all these things that you can be grateful for. And all you have to do is, sometimes you may have to exercise a little bit of imagination to be able to get that gratitude. Maybe your child is being an absolute brat. And so you could be grateful for the fact that, she is testing you. She is testing your resolve. And those are the things that you can write. And when you start doing those gratitude journals, you're changing how you view life, because now, instead of everything being crappy and pissy and horrible and terrible, you're going, yeah, it's crappy, it's pissy, it's terrible, it's horrible. But you know what? There's that little, all right, get something hanging out there that you can be grateful for. Yeah, gas is freaking, $5 a gallon. It's not $5 a gallon at the moment, but just for argument's sake, diesel's $3. So, fuel is way too darn expensive, but at least you can afford the money for the fuel that you need. You can look at everything, and every cloud's got a silver lining. Yeah. Okay. People want to try to say that, oh, that's toxic positivity. No, it's not toxic positivity. It is positivity, period. And your choice to feel bad because of somebody else being positive is not that other person's fault. You can be positive. You be positive. Be just annoyingly positive. And the other person wants to sit there and think you're being toxic with your positivity, then just shine that little sunbeam even more. Because that person doesn't have the gratitude that they really need. And so write in that gratitude journal. Write in that gratitude. Be almost religious about your gratitude journal. 3 to 5 things, not repeating themselves. If you want to really challenge yourself, can't repeat once a week, Something else that actually helps when you are trying to get over that feeling of being broken. The knowledge that, yeah, you're going to feel pain throughout your life. Life is 50% pain, 50% pleasure. And a lot of people kind of shrink back from that. They're, oh my gosh, really? You're saying life is going to hurt? Yeah, life is going to hurt. Now, when I say hurt, I mean, it's not somebody taking a nail and driving it into your big toe every day type of hurt. But what you deem as a negative emotion is not pleasure. So it's going to be at some type of pain. Some people seem to relish in pain, and that's really sad that they do that, but people do. So many people want to just, because that gives them a sense of being around. Yet, you're going to have those painful times. You're going to have your grandmother has passed, your granddad may have passed, 4 months after that. You haven't quite even not back on your feet from your grandma passing. And then boom, granddad dies. Well, guess what? That's kind of happens. And you can be grateful for the fact that you see what true love is. He missed his wife, his life partner. They've been married for 62 years. They've been by each other's side that whole 62 years. And all of a sudden, mama's gone and he wants to be with mom. And it's not that he's doing something that is to kill himself, but he does end up passing because of essentially of a broken heart. That is, you might even be able to say that, yeah, there was something broken. His life wasn't in order anymore. His life had lost all semblance of a purpose. And without a purpose, men do die. So you want to find a purpose. If you don't have a purpose, if you're struggling, you feel like you're broken, look and see what your purpose is. Is your purpose matching up with what your calling is? If you're thinking your purpose is to be this guy who greets everybody and stuff, but yet you're this introvert, you're going to be running up against some major friction. You have to, you may enjoy being around people, but if you're an introvert, you can still enjoy being around people, but you're wearing yourself out being around large crowds. So you want to make sure that your purpose is in line with what your calling is. And when you're enjoying your hobbies, you've got a hobby that you're working on. It's something that expands who you are and expands your knowledge. That's one of the most interesting things, like with stamps or coin collecting, or RC plane building. You may want to start trying to build a scale replica of the spruce goose. And then you figure out everything that needs to be involved with the spruce goose. And how do you turn that into an RC plane that actually will fly? Those are challenges. You give yourself challenges and you try to rise to those challenges. Those hobbies can do that. Your life experiences help you to apply to that hobby. Or maybe you're trying to get a business up and going, and that might be what your purpose is. You found what your calling is, and you see that you can actually turn this into a very profitable business. So you want to make sure that you do that. But if you have a feeling that all sales are evil and money is, and you have come to the conclusion that the money is the root of all evil, which it's not. It's the love of money is the cause of all kinds of evil. Huge difference. A lot of people who want to try to make you not like money will often misquote that. But your life and that sense of being broken, it happens. And the cause of it may seem something that is just completely overpowering. It may be something that just doesn't allow you to find the light and the joy in anything around you. But yet, if you take the time and you talk to your band of brothers, you talk to the guys that you talk to on a weekly basis, get that group of 6 to 12 guys that you talk to regularly, guys in your town, guys that are across the country, across the nation, across the world, get that group of people together, get them talking, get them sharing, get them helping you, allow them to support you. That's what men do. We take the negative in each other's lives and we help to fix that negative. We take that negative away from you and we apply it. We apply our own special means of rectifying that problem. We want to help you. And so to turn to your wife for all the negative doesn't serve as well as if you were to take the time to just let your band of brothers know, hey, this is what I really am going through, and this is the problems that I am suffering. Can you help me with this? Talk to a therapist. They will help you too. If you are getting in a really, really dark place, then dude, there is the Suicide Prevention Lifeline. And that's out there at 1-800-273-TALK, or go to suicidepreventionlifeline.org. That is a place that is just, they want to help. They're out to help. If you're a veteran, hey, reach out to Tears of 22 at yahoo.com, or go to tears22.com and reach out there and talk to those guys. Those guys are all about helping stop the 22 veterans that die every day due to suicide. Suicide causes so many people so much pain, and it's not even the person who was in pain that ends up getting the having to deal with the aftermath of when their loved one kills themselves. And yeah, they may feel let down. They may feel broken. They may feel that there's no hope, but it's our job to try to help them see that light, see that hope, see what there is to be grateful for in this world. So as we go into this Suicide Prevention Week, and I hope that you aren't touched by that, but sadly there seems to be way too many people who have been without the influence of others, and they see that there's no reason to continue on, and they end it. And that's something that we don't want, something that causes so much pain, so much anguish. And the best way to keep that from happening is to get them the help that they need. So if you start viewing somebody is having a problem, or something seems weird and off, go ahead and it's not going to hurt to ask for help. Because the fact that you ask for help, they may not talk to you, but somebody might be there to be able to spark a conversation, and that conversation may just actually save a life. So with that, guys, I want to go ahead and let you go, and just love each other, guys. I know, and so many people want to go, what? Yeah. Just be able to love each other. You have that ability. You have that means of being able to love those around you. You've got a good friend. Put your arm around them. Let them know how much you care for them. Because, guys, we need our veterans. We need our friends. We need those to stay on the earth for as long as humanly possible. So, guys, with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let you go. If you are wanting some help to looking for that band of brothers, we've got one. You can go to relaxmail.com/brotherhood and pick up some extra information about our Brotherhood of Men group. And with that's all I'm going to have to say. Thank you very much for listening. Subscribe if you subscribe or follow on through your podcatcher of choice. You can get our podcast every single week. And with that, I'm going to let you go. All right. Y'all take care. Love y'all lots. Bye.